Well, I'm super
That is true.
excited to do this with you, Danielle, and I'm just happy to learn more about Pinterest because I know that all of us should be utilizing it. And I don't know if you saw the poll that I put on my stories yesterday asking people how many of them utilize Pinterest, and pretty much everyone voted that they do not use it at all. So
Hmm.
this conversation is going to be for them because they need to know why they should be using it. So go ahead and give us a little introduction about yourself, who you are, what you do.
I am, oh, thank you. Yeah. I am Danielle, and I started her social desk earlier this year, like full on going for it. Like I dabbled in virtual assistant in my virtual assistant business previously, and I just decided, I want to have something for when I'm at home with my two babies and be able to still bring in some income just, for myself. And I actually enjoy this. And I ended up niching down to Pinterest management because I think that's more my speed. I was definitely enjoying how there was more of a challenge because it's not a social media platform. At least I don't think of it that way. And just being able to utilize this visual search engine to benefit clients is pretty much fun because they're making some changes and I like the challenge.
So I was just going to ask you after you said that, do you consider it a search engine? But then you said exactly so. Okay. Well, I'm super excited to learn more about Pinterest, learn from you. This is something that I am not an expert in at all. Like I told you, I just started dabbling in Pinterest and repurposing my content. So I'm super excited to just dabble more into this conversation and learn more about it. So why do you think that Pinterest is a good marketing tool for virtual assistants?
I definitely believe that for a niche down virtual assistant, it will offer your business, whatever the size, a unique way to market yourself. Because, like I said, it is a virtual search engine. That means you're going to have more exposure. And that's because when people go to Pinterest, the pinners are coming to that platform because they want inspiration. They want to discover something. They're looking for something specifically. They're not there to just mindlessly scroll. And so that means you're able to reach a new audience and grow awareness to your brand, your products, your services that you're offering. And with that new audience comes a bigger growth in your online presence, and you're able to drive traffic to your website if you have a website. And it's going to encourage some conversions. Make that
So when
money.
I know, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we all want to make impact, but we all want to make money as well. So I get it. When you started out as a virtual assistant, did you utilize Pinterest for your own business? And is that what kind of got you drawn to wanting to niche down to only focusing on Pinterest and becoming a Pinterest manager?
Well, I was actually afraid of Pinterest at the beginning. It seemed like people only go there for recipes, wedding inspiration. I mean, that's what I used to use it for.
Yeah.
So I didn't really use it at all. And then I was intrigued to like take a course on it, and I just got like a little glimpse, and then I started like thinking, I feel like I'm not getting the full picture. So then I started listening like podcasts and stuff like that to get some more information, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds like a match made in heaven for me. And that's when I started realizing that I really enjoyed using Pinterest for business purposes. And I just started applying it to like my business just to test it on myself. And then I was testing it on, I don't know if people know this, but my first client is my sister. She's a photographer, and she's the one who actually told me about the virtual assistant world. And I started applying things that I was learning on her business for her to have some more her conversions to increase and her brand to grow. And so that's kind of how I started using it and able to see how things are able to dramatically change with Pinterest.
Look, I never even considered using it for my business. Like I know when I look at my personal Pinterest, I literally have boards of wedding planning
Hmm.
boards, tattoo boards, like all these
I have
random
those.
organization boards, like how to, organize your kitchen pantry and closet, all this random stuff. And I seriously had never even thought to utilize it for my business until you and I had, well, I don't know what it was, but literally, I remember we had our discussion about doing this live together. And just literally the week before we had that discussion is when I started repurposing my content because I was like, wow. And then having the talk with you, I was like, I should have been doing this. And then actually
Mhm.
seeing those results. I had just shared on my story that I've only been repurposing stuff now for 1 month on there, and it already ended up having 887 views. So a whole audience and market that I was missing out on this entire time.
I know it's
Sorry, I
amazing,
froze there.
and the best, it picked up. We knew what you were saying.
Okay.
Um, I definitely agree. Like I say, like Pinterest is like the power of Pinterest. I say it all the time. Power of Pinterest, the magic of Pinterest.
Ooh, you
Like
better
that's
trademark that.
definitely. I probably should.
That's a good one.
But
You
yeah,
get something from that. Seriously.
You're right. I
That
definitely
is
should definitely look
Danielle's. If
into
anybody steals that from this live, we're coming after you.
that. I'm watching you. But yeah, it's definitely a powerful tool, and I think like now is the time for people to pounce on it because Pinterest is making change. They are making changes to really extend reach for organic content. Like 97% of Pinterest searches, they're not brand related. So that means even as a small business, even if you're like, an entrepreneur, that means that you can outperform some of the larger businesses with your organic content based on how well your images and how well you're utilizing your SEO optimization.
So, what do you think are some of the differences between marketing on Pinterest versus marketing on other platforms like Instagram and Facebook, TikTok, all the other ones?
Okay, so for sure the differences with Pinterest compared to like Instagram and Facebook is you have to have your following like already established for maybe someone who follows you to see your work that you're posting. With Pinterest, once you create something and you post it, it could be on there for months getting traction. When you're using TikTok, that like instantly like is not going to grow. Like once you put it out there, it's kind of like you have that one chance, one shot to go viral or to get a lot of eyes on it, and then it's already dead like within a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And the same goes with Instagram and Facebook, except they have that following that maybe like when you think about it, when you post your own things on your Instagram, how much of your followers actually see it based on the algorithm and the timing and all these other factors. With Pinterest, you're able to just post and it could still come into the algorithm 3-4 months later.
I see somebody said, so use an existing account, don't start a new. I just started a brand new Pinterest,
Mm-hmm.
and within the 30 days, it had the 887 views. So, what are your thoughts on that, Danielle?
You don't have to start brand new. It's okay that you already did, no big deal. But you could just change your account to be a business account, and that will dramatically change everything because you'll be able to get insights just like you do with Instagram. And when you do that, make sure like you have your website. They'll claim your website for you, like confirm that your website's like clickable because they want you to be able to get like clicks from your content. And I also recommend if you decide to go that route with your existing account is you just make all your boards that are like not business related secret or private. I believe it's secret though. So in that way, not everyone's going to get confused if they come and check out your content. They're not going to be like, oh, why does she have all these recipes? Why does she have all this wedding inspiration? Which is totally fine. You should totally have that stuff because that's what it's supposed to be used for. But to gain traction from others, you want to put that more professional front on with your boards. And you can, yeah, so make one dedicated business board. You can have like one board of just your content. That's what I recommend. But if you're going to use it for your business, pick like maybe 10 to 15 boards that relate to your business. So like if you're a virtual assistant, it could be like Pinterest marketing, blogging, like that could be a separate board. Another board could be, I think I have one that's like small office inspiration. It all kind of relates, and that will be able to be able to show people like what you're interested in and what you're able to show for your content in your business.
So I know that like we're getting down into the details of Pinterest, but for people who are not familiar with it at all, how does Pinterest actually work?
Okay. So, well, how Pinterest works is people go onto Pinterest. About 89% of users on Pinterest, they're there for inspiration and most likely to also purchase. So that is good to know that with to know that there's customers, clients with that mindset. And so when you do go on Pinterest, you'll see visuals, images. There could be text on images as well. And sometimes people are going to see those. It will attract them. They'll click on it. They're going to view it in a bigger screen. And then maybe they'll go ahead and click on that image and it'll take them to your website or your Instagram or wherever you're trying to lead them to, if that makes sense. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess that kind of makes me lead into like, could you share some of, now that you've broken down like how it actually even works, can you kind of share like some of the terms? Because I know that like pinning and then just how like you said secret, what does that mean for people who are not familiar with it at all?
All right, so pinning, think of it like Pinterest being your mood board, virtual mood board, and you're able to organize things that you're attracted to based on categories. So a lot of people, and I'm gonna kind of do this like kind of basic, it doesn't relate to businesses, just to make sure it sounds like a little bit more easier to understand and digest. But let's say you're interested in Thanksgiving dinners, and you're also interested in like Christmas dinners, and you're looking for recipes to use for those types of events, and you get some inspirational ideas. You see some images that you're interested in, and so now you'll just go ahead and organize them. Like you'll organize one in Thanksgiving dinners, organize one in Christmas dinners, and then you're able to go back and view that content and probably click on that content, which will take you to a blog, and then you'll see the actual recipe, and that's how people are able to get traction and get those types of growth from their content. And when it comes to your business, you're trying to show, and you're using a business account, you're trying to show your curated mood board that relates to your business. And even though we want to use Pinterest for other things that are more personal, which is totally fine, just make those boards secret so that other people can't see them, but only you can see them for yourself. And it's pretty self-explanatory when you do get in there, like when you click on the actual board that you titled like Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner, it will say like you can make it private or secret or visible. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So do you think that Pinterest, do you think it works for all different types of businesses, like B2Bs, business to business, local businesses, online service providers? Do you think it's beneficial for all business types?
I definitely think it is beneficial for all business types, but it will really work if you're niche down. Like if you're like kind of like on the fence and want to offer all these services, it might not work because you need to be able to know exactly who you're marketing to and what their pain points are to be able to see that impact. Because like I said earlier, and for those who might be just joining in, people are not going to look for something specific. Like they're not being like, I want to look at Old Navy fall outfits. Like they're looking at fall outfit ideas. They're looking at wine outfit ideas. And with that, you could see a lot of content. Like it could be plus size, it could be spring, it could be fall. So you have a wide range of audience members who are going to start niching down to your specific content. And that's why when you do decide to use Pinterest, you will be niched down and you're going to be able to create quality content. Because then when you do create like using quality images, like using Canva or Unsplash, that is what's going to make it last for months and maybe even like years, especially if you have a blog attached to it.
That's amazing. Do you think that just like kind of with Instagram, I know that I always tell like virtual assistants who start out that niching down is the end goal, but when they first start out, I never really recommend it because I think like trying multiple things is how you determine what it is that you truly even like.
Yes.
But do you think that just like how you need to position yourself as an expert in your industry, just like how you now are like you're an expert in Pinterest, and I feel as though I'm an expert in the VA world. Does that same thing roll over into Pinterest as well? Is that why you were saying you have to be niched because then you're viewed as an industry leader for that type of thing that you're pinning or content you're pinning?
I think it definitely will help you be able to have your voice to be a little bit more clear, because you don't want to attract someone who's going to go to your account or to go to your pins and then go to your website or go to your Instagram, wherever you're leading them to, and then not convert to what you need them to. So that's why I was saying to niche down. And I think that maybe this will be best like for when you're in the game for a little bit, because I feel like you really could niche down once you've been a VA for a while. You really see like what you really like you're really into admin, you're really into doing email marketing or something like that. That's what I recommend to use Pinterest for, because you don't want to take on too much. Like you're using Instagram and using TikTok for your marketing, and then all of a sudden you're going to add on Pinterest too. Like it might be like way too much, and you want to be able to like hone in your craft for sure.
So it's better to add Pinterest to so you're saying that it's better to add Pinterest to your marketing strategy once you've actually determined what your niche is, rather than
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Just because you don't want to waste time. It's adding more to your plate.
Very true. And do you also recommend, like, this makes me think a lot of the times, I know this is a different type of subject that people have too. Some people think that you should utilize multiple platforms, which I do, but I always say, hone in on one platform first, become an expert in that, and then repurpose to others. Do you think that's the same type of advice that you would give in regard to using
Yes.
Pinterest, or would you say start with Pinterest, make that be your number one, and then repurpose on others? Or
I think you're like 100% on that for sure. Like I absolutely agree with what you're saying. I believe that if you're able to have a place where you're able to funnel things to, like from Pinterest, that's going to be the best for you. So like if you're going to use Pinterest, you don't want to just have just an image there. You want that to be a clickable image to take your audience, your viewer, to something else, like whether that's your Instagram you want to take them to, maybe you have an email landing page you want to take them to, maybe you want to take them to your TikTok or your YouTube where you're giving advice or trying to attract clients. That's what you want to use Pinterest for. Because if you just have them click on an image like you do for like Instagram, that's kind of it. It doesn't like take them to get to know you more, if that makes sense.
do you think, so one thing that I've noticed with Pinterest, I'm fairly new to it, but one thing that I've noticed is that you can use an image and or you can use a video now. Do you think that matters? Is video getting more? I mean, obviously, I think a lot of things are now video first. So is that the same in Pinterest? Even though when you use an image, it's still going to click and take you where you want to take them. But is it the same when you're using a video as that cover page? If that's what it's called.
No, I know, totally get what you're saying. For sure, just like with our regular social media platforms, having a variety of what you're using is going to be best to reach your target audience. They are definitely Pinterest is pushing for something called idea pins. And to me, you could definitely like repurpose your reels with that, or your TikToks, whatever you're doing, because it is more visual. So an idea pin is, you could use a collection of images, or you could actually do a full video. And it is like more of like a snippet. You can link, like put your own link in there for someone to click to, like maybe your website or something like that, which is fairly new, which is a fairly new feature that they just added. But it's basically like a reel, or like, that's what I'm just going to compare it to, like a reel or a TikTok.
Okay. So do you think, does it matter if you use video over a regular picture, or is either okay?
I would say use a variety, but they are pushing for the idea pins and the videos too.
Okay.
Like that's what they're pushing a little bit more tough right now.
Do you think it's going to take away from just the normal images instead of?
I don't think it's going to do that, because I don't think it will go there yet. Obviously, video is like king right now, so everyone's like loving that. And so they're just going to go with what the consumer is enjoying the most. I don't think it will go away, because I do think stills still photos do matter. And just having a range, like I know some people just like to only have reels on their page, which is great. I personally like to do like, on my Instagram, I have like I have carousels, I have like a stag post, I have reels. So, just having that variety, I think matters because not sometimes we don't want to do videos all the time. You got to do what's best for you when you're creating your content.
And people digest content differently. So, maybe
Hmm.
some people that love reels. I mean, some people may love reels while others don't. They prefer like the carousel post, or others may just prefer, a general one post. So I guess it seems
Yeah.
like that same format kind of follows onto Pinterest as well, huh?
Yeah, it definitely does. Having the variety helps, but for sure, like when you do use the videos and the idea pins, those are going to be what will probably get the most traction right away.
How much time do you think people need to spend utilizing Pinterest in order to be successful?
When you're first starting out, you definitely are going to have to be more on top of it, like probably creating 5 to 8 pins a day or even a
A
week. Like you
day?
have to do what's, yeah, because you can schedule them out. You can schedule them out.
Okay.
So that's why I say you got to have it all. I know it's a lot. Like if you really want like a big impact, like right away, because Pinterest is the long game. I'm just gonna be honest. It's the long game. You're not gonna get instant gratification right away with Pinterest. I call it like a slow burn. And you could do 5 to 8 a day. I would say like if you're like your brand spanking new, like 5 to 8 pins a week, and just schedule them out. You're not going to be penalized for planning things out and scheduling it out in advance. And then like when you start having your consistent flow for like a couple months, then you could go to like 2 to 3 pins.
Do you make brand new? Do you make content that you only share on Pinterest? Or is the content that you're sharing on Pinterest repurposed from other platforms?
It is repurposed,
Okay.
and we want to work smarter, not harder, for
Yeah.
sure.
Because I was going to say everything that I've done recently,
Hmm.
with being fairly new, it's all repurposed from my Instagram and segueing that way. So I was just curious. Do you think there's a difference of if you make only Pinterest type of content, like only geared for Pinterest, or does that even matter?
I don't think it matters. I think what Pinterest is looking for, the algorithm is looking for if you are engaging for the audience, and then they'll start ranking you, and then that will spread your content to a wider range, to more people, basically.
That
And that's
literally
what you
segues
want.
us. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, that was it. That was all I was saying.
I was going to say that literally segues us into the next question because I was going to ask you, like, how do people get found? How do they get that exposure?
Mm. So how Pinterest also works connects to how it works. The game with Pinterest is you have to use keywords. So keywords are terms or single like phrases, single words that will describe your content. So like my example earlier was like about Christmas recipes, right? That's a keyword. And if you type that in, you'll get a whole bunch of images, videos that will relate to that keyword. And the more you're going to see that content, that means that the one that is up top means it ranks higher instead of you having to scroll down. So keywords are like your best friend, and you have to do like a buttload of keyword research to be able to make sure that you're going to be successful. And when you do get the keywords that you need for your specific niche audience, then you're able to input that in multiple places to get you found. So you could put it in your bio, you could put it in your images, you could image descriptions, you could put it in your board description. There's like many places for you to put keywords to be able to get your content found.
Should you put those keywords in the alt text part? Because I see that that's an option too when you're creating a pin.
Yeah, put it in the actual text too of your image, and it helps the algorithm organize your content to be found.
Ooh, I'm over here like plotting how to work when I upload some more, when I repurpose some more content, because I was putting like what the title was, like the title, I was putting that in the alt text too, but I should be better with using like the key terms, keywords in there as well. So what do you, I know that you're like focusing on saying utilizing a business page, but what is the difference between the business and the personal page? And why do you recommend the business page over the personal page on Pinterest?
For sure, the biggest reason to have a business page on Pinterest is the analytics that you will get. You'll get a lot of insights. It will tell you how many people are clicking on your actual content, how many people are clicking from your content to your website or wherever you're leading them to. And I think that information is like invaluable because then you know for sure like what is working. Because you could repurpose the same exact content. Like if you do like a blog post, you could pin that 5 times. That's what I recommend at least. Pin
Oh,
that 5 times using different graphics, using different like text descriptions that include your keywords, and now you have a variety, all leading to that one post. And so, see, that's why it's easy. When you have a blog or something like that, you're able to really easily do 5 pins, from one blog post.
yeah. I didn't even think about that. So just it could link to the same thing, but as long as you have a different image, different cover image,
Hmm.
different description, it still is like it works because here you are
Yeah,
again having, wow, that's really smart. I
yeah.
didn't even consider that because I guess that means that some of the things that were already shared, I can just go ahead and reshare it as long as I create a
Hmm.
different. Wow, love that.
Yes. So that's why when I was saying 5 to 8, it sounds like so much, but it's like, is it
It's
really?
yeah, it's not really when you're repurposing like that. Works out well.
Yeah.
Do you see this comment? She said, maybe I do need a new business page only then. I don't want to stop interacting with my friends on recipes and throw pillows.
I totally get that. No, you can still have your business page and just have your board secret. But if they're looking at your content too, I totally get it. Like, just get a new one.
Yeah, because then if you make it secret, then your family and friends can't see the boards. It's only for you to see.
Hmm. Yeah, that would suck because it's like what I want for Christmas. No one can see
Yeah. Here,
it.
didn't you see my board? Oh, the board that's secret? That's so funny. Okay. Well, I'm glad that I did make a business one separate from my personal.
Yeah.
But you were just saying something about like the analytics, which is why you recommend having the business page because you get to see analytics. So I know that
Yes.
some of the analytics on there are like monthly viewers and reach, and then monthly
Yes.
engaged. What are the differences between those monthly viewers slash reach or monthly engaged?
All right, so monthly viewers means how many people actually viewed your content, like when they were scrolling. And then engaged means they either clicked on it to view, like to see it bigger, or they even clicked on it to be funneled to where you sent them to. Like, was it to your website, to your TikTok, to your Instagram? So that will show which content's actually really producing a higher interest.
Okay. And then do you think the when it shows you like I got my first email that said in 30 days, this is how many views you had, and this was your top
Hmm.
most content. Do you think that those are the ones that you should repurpose and make those new cover images and post them again?
I would definitely wait a little bit just because the traction for your content when you do put it out there, especially like for you, a lot of people are going to start making like some big decisions in a couple months when like the new year starts because there are trends, and then when things are trending, Pinterest is going to re-push your content out if it's like related to that specific niche. That's why I say you got niche down a little bit. So like think about at the beginning of the year, a lot of people are doing a couple of things. They're either one, they just got married over the holidays. Two, they are trying to lose weight, or three, they want to get a new job because they want to start fresh, right? And so that's where your business will come in. Like, oh yeah, I want to get a new job. How can I work from home? And then they're going to find you again, and there was no reason for you to repurpose it already.
Got it. So the ones that are doing well, you shouldn't repurpose immediately. You can kind of hold off, but then
Yeah,
obviously the ones that weren't listed as your top, you have that freedom to go ahead and repurpose those.
yeah,
I see
yeah, for
somebody.
sure.
Lauren said, do you need to track trends in Pinterest like on TikTok and Instagram?
Yeah, definitely. There are trends that Pinterest will revamp your content if it meets that need. So, like in July, I'm not going to be looking up, again, here's my example, Christmas dinner recipes. I'm probably going to be looking that up in like November, October when I'm trying to plan for it. So that's when people are going to be searching for it again. And that is kind of like how the trends actually work. There are places where you can find trends for Pinterest. Sometimes you have to pay for them, but Pinterest also has it on their business page. They have like a list of potential trends, and you're able to view that content and to help organize your business to reach your goals, basically.
I think I guess I wouldn't necessarily know if this is trends, but like how you said, Pinterest is really more like a search engine optimization tool. I love using it for, like, I'll just go search virtual assistant, and then just like Google, you know how it drops down and gives you those options. Those are like things that you can recreate for your business or content you can create that'll then you can promote, because this is what people are searching for anyway. So is that kind of like the same with searching for trends, or is that different?
Yeah, that's different. I would definitely use when you're searching for stuff like that, to use for your keywords. Like when you type in those types of words, like virtual assistant, it might give you additional words and stuff like that. That will be a great place to get your keywords, which will help you optimize your SEO for your content.
So that's better for keyword search rather than.
Hmm.
Okay, love that. Okay. So what do you think are like the best practices for how much text you should have in the description and hashtags? Does that
Definitely
matter?
don't use hashtags.
Okay.
No hashtags in Pinterest.
Oh,
It's all about the keywords. Yeah.
look, I got a whole bunch in there because I literally was just copy and paste in my
Hmm.
descriptions on, I mean, my captions here and there. So no hashtags on Pinterest?
Yeah, you don't need to use hashtags. Just use your keywords. And like when you're using your keywords, like just don't be like, I'll go to my example again. Christmas dinners, dinner recipe. Like you don't want to just list everything. You want to kind of put it in like a flow of an actual like mini paragraph, like an actual description, and use those keywords like regular conversational words. That will definitely help, because if you start listing things like that, it will alert Pinterest that could be spammy. You're okay now if you just did a couple like hashtags, not a big deal. But
A bunch.
but if like this is what you're doing all the time, it would like say that your content's spammy, and it'll probably take it down and it won't be seen.
Okay. Good to know. So how come hashtags are not a thing on Pinterest?
Because of the keywords.
Okay.
That's like basically replaces it. So like, like when you write like a caption, that's kind of like where you would, like how you would write a caption is where you would intricately place your keywords to make it flow better.
Yeah.
And that will definitely show the Pinterest algorithm like what your content's about. Plus you already have the keywords in your board description that your content's attached to. Plus you have the keywords in your image and in your bio. So it all connects to make sure your content's seen by the right audience. So that's definitely a great best practice, is using your keyword, doing your keyword research. Like you're going to spend a majority of the time doing keyword research and updating your keyword research. And you're not going to use hashtags. You don't need to. If you don't want to, I don't recommend it. You do want to have quality images, and of course text, especially for VAs. You definitely would probably want to have text on your images. Just be mindful of the dimensions. When you use Canva, the dimensions are already like set up. They're perfect in Canva. So just use those dimensions, and make sure you're not using like super scripty font. Make sure it's very legible and very clear, to be able to see what your content actually is. So just like use best practices like you actually do for your Instagram posts, something like that.
Yeah. I will be going back on there and deleting those hashtags. No worries. So does it matter? Does it matter like when you pin? Or is there like a specific time you need to pin?
There in the insights, when you do have your insights set up, you'll be able to get a good idea of when to pin your content. So very similar to like when you're using Instagram as well. That's why you definitely need to have the business account, because it will kind of tell you when you need to actually pin, actual times that you should be pinning. So it does matter, and it can matter and make a difference for you. You won't see that right away, because when you're starting out, there is nothing for you. So give it like, 2-3 months, and then use those insights to help you, because you're still trying to like, get your vibe going with what your audience wants.
So is there such a thing as like pinning too much?
Yes, because it could be considered like spam.
Okay. What's
So
too
when you
much?
are pinning, what's too much? I definitely would not like, especially when you're like when I'm talking about pinning, I'm talking about you're posting your own content, right? And when you are doing too much, I think like if you did like 15 like pins a week, I think that might be a little excessive. Just a
Really?
little,
But you
just
said like 5 to 8 a day. So now I'm a little confused.
oh, I'm sorry, I meant to say a day. 15 pins a day.
Okay, okay. I
I
was like,
think that
wait, wait,
might be a
wait.
little.
15 a week's too much? Then
Yeah, so yeah, if you do like 50, I think that's a lot. Like, cause like you're bombarding your audience like with too much, and then they're not going to want to click on your content.
okay.
So that's why I think the 5 to 8 a day is all you need to do when you're starting out, and then when you are really set in a couple months, then back off to like 2 to 3, as long as you're consistent.
Okay. Um, do you think that like pins that aren't doing well and aren't getting good engagement or impressions, well, not impressions, views, that they should be deleted, or should you leave them just like, I think is that the same practice in regard to like reels? Like you shouldn't delete a reel because you never know
Hmm.
what's going to happen to it. Is that the same when with a pin?
Yes.
Okay.
It is absolutely the exact same because you just never know. Maybe it's just not trending for Pinterest right now, and then all of a sudden it blows up. Like you don't want to lose out on that. And if you just have one, now you kind of know. It's like, okay, maybe I won't make content like that just in case. And then you see, oh wow, it blew up, and there you go.
Have you had like any of your pins? What maybe you posted one and you're like, oh, I didn't think that was gonna do well, but then it did way better than it was. And what are your thoughts on like just duplicating that type of pin? Do you so when a pin is doing well, do you repurpose it then on other platforms as well? Is basically what I'm asking there.
I wouldn't repurpose. I haven't repurposed anything yet, uh, to that extent. But definitely, like I use the same. Sometimes I just use my same template, the
Okay.
template that I used, like maybe how the text was on the image. Like it could be all those types of things that could make the post really go the extra mile for you.
So then it's really like you have to sit there and kind of do your own research because you don't know if it was
Hmm.
the content or you don't know if it was the graphic. So you just have to kind of like play around with things to determine what
Yeah,
was okay, what made it win.
especially at the beginning, like the first 6 months is for sure. That's why I say it's the long game, the slow burn. Like you have to like play with it. You're gonna make some mistakes, and that's okay. No one's perfect, and you never know how things are gonna work out. Like it could be the colors that are messing things up. Like you just don't know.
Yeah, I love how you keep saying the slow burn because I think that's truly something that we all need to encompass within just our businesses and lives because we really need to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process and be patient because when we least expect it, that's when like blessings happen. That's when things come full forward. Just as long as you like stay the course, stay dedicated, don't quit, enjoy the journey. Like you said, the slow burn. I love that. Do you think that there's an advantage to pins being pinned from your website versus being uploaded or repinned?
There is an advantage to that because that's someone interacting with your content and then sharing that. But there's also the advantage for you having your content that you put on your page for it to also be reshared as well. So I pretty much think it's equal because there's
And
both there's both
how do
goodness
you?
coming from it.
I hear your bibis.
I sorry, yeah, my little one's awake.
No worries, no worries. I was gonna ask too. How do you? I know. How do you like get your pins on your website? Do you like, is that like an integration? And then is that how people, because I know sometimes when I go to people's website and I hover over the image, I see the Pinterest symbol.
Hmm.
How is that something that you incorporate?
Oh, so on your website, there's oh my gosh, what is it? Like an extension, like a
Okay.
Chrome extension. Like I use Chrome, so that's why I'm saying that
Okay.
you're able to apply. But when you're able to like create stuff like through, I use Tailwind. And if you decide to not use Tailwind, which is a paid service, you could just do it through the actual business page from Pinterest, and you're able to just link it through there. Link your, like when you're able to funnel someone from Pinterest to your blog, or funnel someone from Pinterest to your TikTok page. That's the same thing.
Okay. And then what are your thoughts? I know that you just said that there's, the advantage between pinning from your website and then uploading and repin. What about the same with the advantage of organic pinning versus the scheduled pinning?
Pinterest right now is not penalizing anyone for scheduling like through another service like Tailwind. Sometimes I do think like when you are using the videos, just use the business aspect. It just seems to upload better and get a wider reach when you are doing it through the actual business page.
Look, I don't know. I think I've like drained you of all my questions about Pinterest. Does any I know there's 3 people on right now. Does anyone have a question right now? And if not, what do you think, what's the main takeaway that you would love our viewers and the replay listeners to get from utilizing Pinterest in their business?
Well, I definitely think Pinterest is the long game. So if you're willing to play in that type of situation, you're not willing, like you're okay with not having instant gratification, you really need to check out Pinterest. Like there is some serious magic to it, especially if you've been niched down. And that's the best thing I could say, because it is a visual search engine, and that's going to play to your advantage, especially as a VA. That means you're very creative. That means you know how to make beautiful content for another person's business, so you could do it for your business and reap the benefits from it.
I love that. I think that if you are a VA and if you haven't taken anything away from Danielle's conversation about Pinterest, like apply it now, because I kid you not, like after having that discussion with her about a month ago and then really focusing on it, just to see almost 900 monthly viewers in 30 days, an audience that I had not tapped into, an audience that I was missing out on. Why not repurpose the content that you're already creating? It's not going to take too much additional time for you to just, take the graphics that you're already creating on Instagram and just, what I was doing is that I was resizing them in Canva to make them the right Pinterest size. Yes. Easy peasy, a double copy and paste. Got to remove the hashtags this time. But I think that, just like Danielle said, it is a slow game. It is the slow burn, but go ahead. If you're not doing it now, you're missing out on opportunities. So can you tell people how they can work with you and how they can find you?
Yes, I'm at Her Social Desk. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Pinterest, obviously. And it was great talking with you guys. If you do want to if you want to like ask me a couple more questions, you can reach out to me and send me a DM or anything like that. I'm happy to help you guys and give out some valuable information, because I mean, we're all in this together.
I'm so grateful that we were able to do this live together. I've learned so much about Pinterest. I know that the listeners and the replay listeners, if they didn't take anything away, but anything, like go start your Pinterest journey now, repurpose your content, because you could tap into this new audience, this new market. And, that slow burn, who cares? Start now in 10 days or a month or 4 months. You never really know what's going to happen. You could really have a whole new market, a whole new consumers that want to invest in your services and products. So I really appreciate you sharing your expertise on this, because this was like a foreign language to me. So I'm so glad that you broke it down in layman terms, allowing us to like just understand it. Because I know a lot of people, when they learn about a new platform, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what this means. I don't even know how to utilize it. But you spoke it so simply that it's like, okay, I can do this. I can take the content that I'm already share it over.
I'm happy it helped. I'm happy it was helpful. Like, yeah. At least I know you are getting something from it. So that makes me happy.
No, and they are too. Watch, look, people, thank you so much, you guys. And all the questions that we were receiving.
I see it now.
Like, people were asking questions. So I think that when they are engaged in the conversation, they're taking something away too. And you got to keep in mind that this is going to be on our page. People, other viewers are going to be able to see it. Just like you said, it's the slow burn. We never know who else is going to see this in the long run. So
that's true. But I'm happy to help, and thank you for inviting me. I really had so much fun talking with you and getting to know you. And thanks everybody for showing up.
This is the first, but it won't be the last.
That's true.
Well, thank you so much for everybody tuning in. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you to the replay listeners. And thank you so much, Danielle, for sharing your expertise. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Bye.